We've seen some amazing things, but that, my friends, is something we've never seen.
Brandon Cruz Month's Advice.
Brandon Cruz Month's Advice.
Brandon Month's Advice.
Brandon Cruz Month's Advice. You just locked yourself into the playoffs.
Nice.
Got it.
Talk with old Brandon Cruz Month's Advice.
Completely speechless, to say the least.
Man, I am honestly so baffled by that decision. Brandon Cruz Month's Advice. It's Brandon Month's Advice.
Green flag in the air. Brandon Cruz Month's Advice to the front.
Ladies and gentlemen, how are you doing? I am doing fantastic. I hope you are as well. We got a lot of things going on this condensed Friday and some personal things that I want to bring up right fast. Let me just say this right fast. First off, I have made a Patreon. It is live. Check out the Patreon video right when you're done with this one. If you would like to support me, support the show, support what I'm doing, please consider donating. I've made this to facilitate the growing needs for donations because I keep having people send me money through PayPal or iRacing credits or whatnot, and I'd rather just have it go to one centralized place. So thank you guys very much. This would be a perfect day, and I'm using this for an example. If I had a webcam to where I could just live stream before each race, or just like continue like talking about the Xfinity Series and the Cup Series, just because it's a condensed day. If it would have gone correctly to where we had Xfinity Series one and only practice, and then Cup final, and then Xfinity qualifying, and then Cup qualifying, like I could have just covered that all tonight in a live stream or whatnot, but I can't, so we're stuck with this right now. So guys, please consider donating. The article on Burnout Avenue should be sent to them later tonight. I think I'm going to send it before qualifying, because under my notes right now, under Richmond, number one, I have that we're fucked, because in both series, really, because there's only one practice for Xfinity, so everyone ran out. I don't think Xfinity Series is going to qualify, so we're going to have them based on points, and then I think the same thing's going to happen with the Cup Series. We'll just have to see, and if that's the case, we only have one practice for the Cup Series too, so everyone's going to be looking at the same data. There's going to be a shitload of chalk, and just from that, and not, I think there's going to be some major sleepers. I mean, people are going to jump on cheap guys that were high in 10-lap averages and fade guys that, like Joey Logano, for example. He was like 30th fastest in 10-lap averages. That's not Joey Logano's strength, and I don't think people are going to be that stupid to fade him based on that, but people are going to rank Chris Buescher, for example, because Chris Buescher was stupid fast in 10-lap averages, and he's been stupid fast over the last couple of races. I think a lot of people are going to go to Chris Buescher in such a really, Chris Buescher is just going to be major chalk entering this weekend because he's been kicking ass. And speaking of kicking ass, man, my video last week was just a kick-ass week for me, and I didn't even enter a whole lot. I did one entry, and the article was on fire, video was on fire, my lineup was on fire. It was fantastic, so hopefully we can continue that going into Richmond. Let me just look at the 10-lap consecutive averages of at least what was there. So you had Kyle Busch, Kevin Harvick, Chris Buescher, Eric Jones, Ryan Blaney, Hamlin, Byron, Larson, Chase Elliott, and Daniel Suarez, your top 10 and fastest 10-lap averages, and the only practice we're going to see today out of the Cup cars, and the only practice that we'll probably end up seeing this weekend. So based on this right here, regardless of if they qualify or not, I think a lot of guys are obviously going to jump on Kyle Busch, Harvick. Those are the two dominators. A lot of weight is going to go to Chris Buescher because he's only $6,500 on DraftKings, so that's going to be a lot of people's punt just because they're like, oh, he's fast, he's cheap, we can do that. I guarantee you, especially based off how he's been racing these last couple weekends, Chris Buescher will be punt chalk city. I'm pretty sure I'm going to fade him there. And then the same thing with Kurt Busch. Kurt Busch is priced right now at like $10,800 or something like that. It's damn close to a dominator. Let me just look. $10,200. Sorry about that. $600 off. But either way, he's $10,000, and he's only there because he's had very poor qualifying lately, and he's been kicking ass and finishing well. But I don't think at the price he's at right now he is worth that $10,000. I don't think if he starts sixth, even if he has the fastest car, or one of the top 5 fastest cars, I don't think he is worth that price. I am going to fade Kurt. I faded him last week because I figured he would be stupidly owned. He wasn't. Kurt Busch was such a great play last weekend. I thought he'd be like 30% owned. I don't know why people faded him. I mean, Kurt Busch is not a bad driver. Anyway, so he was like 20% owned. I think people are going to jump back on Kurt Busch just because they're like, oh, he's been doing great. I was stupid to fade him last weekend. And hopefully his ownership jumps back up and it'll justify me fading him again. um, Going back to the 10-lap averages, you have Ryan Preece 15th. Other notables, you have Michael McDowell 16th, Matt Tiff 21st, Clint Boyer and Jimmy Johnson 23rd and 24th, respectively. And then you have Joey Logano, Paul Menard, and Matt DiBenedetto 29th, 30th, and 31st. As I said before, I think people realize that Joey Logano is not 29th fastest. And those guys ran their times later in the session. So if people are just looking at their actual speed, they're going to realize, like, hey, they did not have a clean racetrack when they were doing it. It was at the end of practice, and either way, I think very stupid casuals will fade Logano. But if you have any brains, I don't see a reason to worry about Logano, Menard, or Matt DiBenedetto. I actually really like Matt DiBenedetto. Hopefully he continues to just look absolutely disgusting. Same with Daniel Hemrick and Bubba. Bubba, Hemrick, and DiBenedetto are the guys I'm looking at right now for good punts. As I said with Bubba last weekend, RPM is in a terrible financial situation, and Bubba needs to drive for his career and for that organization's life. So I'm certainly sticking on the Bubba train until they either go out of business or they get a win. It's just, man, this is a difficult one. One practice, a lot of people are going to look at the 10-lap averages or look at the speeds and just base it all off of that. Because, like, Kyle Larson was fastest overall today in the first practice. Then it was Hamlin, Buescher again, Buescher, Kyle Busch in fourth, Daniel Suarez, Martin Truex Jr., Kurt Busch, Harvick, Logano. Those were your top 10. So, like, Logano had the 10th fastest car overall speed, but he was one of the slowest in long-run speeds. Hopefully that scares some people off. Bubba was 17th fastest overall speed, but like 29th or whatever fastest in 10-lap averages. The people that I'm really interested in, I still don't want to use I don't want to use any punts this weekend if I can help it. Probably the lowest I might end up going is Daniel Hemrick and Ryan Newman. I'll just have to see how what happens in qualifying, because all that's in the air right now. I just feel like, man, a lot of people are going to tell you guys, like, I hope you don't just listen to me. I hope you listen to other people, but a lot of people are going to base way too much on the first practice, or there's going to be so much chalk. So what you guys need to do, however we qualify, is figure out who the dominators are. Let's make a list like 5 dominators that we could expect. So it's like Busch, Harvick, Blaney. Let's throw Larson and Eric Almirola in there just for shits and giggles. So, like, say if you think it's going to be those 5 people, pick 2 of those 5 dominators that you think, or that you want to have in your lineup that you think are gonna do well, and then go through the rest of the field. Look at who you think people are going to be drawn to. Look at who do you think people are going to be stuck on with, like, certain price ranges. Like, for example, like, say if you make a lineup right now with Kyle Busch and Kevin Harvick, those are the 2 most expensive guys. That leaves you $6,100 on average for the rest of your lineups. Now, usually that is catastrophic and it's horrible, but this weekend is one of those where I'm not really concerned about that, only because, like, I'm dicking around with the lineup right now on Kyle Busch and Harvick. I got $6,100 left. Let's just say I throw in Bubba Wallace at $59,000, $6,200 left on average. Then I got Daniel Hemrick, another guy I'm looking for. That leaves me $6,300 on average for other people. Let's just say, I mean, you're kind of shoved in a situation where you need to take Chris Buescher at $6,500, and so you're left with $6,100. And so you look at Dylan Chastain, Reagan, McDowell, Tiff, LaJoie. Looking at those guys right there, let's just say you trust Ty Dillon again. You put Ty Dillon in. So right now, if you stack Kyle Busch and Harvick, your lineup will most likely look like Kyle Busch, Harvick, Wallace, Hemrick, Buescher, Dillon. That would be one generic lineup that I would see people might go to if you put both Kyle and Harvick together. Now, you can do that. You'll just have to dick around with other people. You might have to throw more terrifying plays together, like Landon Castle or like Matt Tiff or McDowell and people like that, so on and so forth. So go in there, see what lineups you can create. This is going to be a rough weekend. This is not very DFS friendly. Anytime we only have one practice and we might end up losing qualifying, those are the weekends that this certainly does suck, and it's not as fun. It's just, there's so much chalk, everyone goes to the same guys. That's how you just have to punt. You just have to go with like people that are just low owned or long shots. Speaking of long shots, let me just throw this in right fast. I'll let you go back to everything. As I said, this is going to be a pretty short video. We're only at like 10 minutes, and we're pretty much done for this video. So, speaking of long shots, I only do maybe about 12 entries in the golf each year. I usually do the Masters, the Players Championship, Waste Management, some of those here and there, all the big ones. I have made a lineup that is just full on low-owned fest. Justin Thomas, Bryson DeChambeau, Francisco Molinari, Ian Poulter, Rafa Cabello, and sorry, just Simu Kim. And good lord, I think I might end up making it through round 2 today with all 6 golfers still in. Right now I'm winning $80 in the Fantasy Millionaire Maker. At the time of recording this, I am 3,518th out of 235,000 people. It's been a good week for me. I made money off of NBA earlier this weekend, and then the first NHL puck drop playoff thing on Wednesday. So this is just a fantastic week for me. Absolutely awesome. Like I said, guys, please check out my Patreon if you would like to support me. If you want me to actually make videos with graphics and titles and everything moving around on here, please let me know. Help me out here, because I just don't have the time and the money right now to buy a webcam. And if I get enough money in the long run, I can certainly afford to do this as a part-time job, and who knows, we could get there at full-time. I'm not banking on that right now. I sure would like it, but one step at a time. Can't start running if you don't know how to crawl. So thank you guys very much. Follow me on Twitter at BrandonCruzDFS. Subscribe on YouTube. Like me on YouTube. And I appreciate you staying here to listen. If you have any questions or anything, please post them in the comments. Tweet at me on Twitter. I will be here tomorrow. I'm completely off, so I am here to answer any questions. You guys have a fantastic evening. Enjoy the Xfinity Series race tonight, and best of luck tomorrow in the Cup Series. Peace out.